Hey, guess what?
Are you live? I'm kidding. You always go live without. Are you sure we're live though?
It says we're live.
Okay.
Tag friends. Finish. Sweden.
I can't get in the
Here,
damn
come
shot.
on in.
I can't get in.
Come
the
on
shot.
in.
Okay. Am I in?
You're in.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to Two Chicks.
And Flick.
And a flick. The flick is back there.
Flick is back there.
Right? We got to get closer.
I don't know. Watch your foot. I don't want to.
Don't.
Okay.
You're not on my foot.
Okay.
Ooh. Ooh.
Sorry. A little rough around the edges right now.
Uh-oh.
So we just got done watching, actually, this month's...
Hi.
Hi. this month's movie, which
Should we sit
is...
back further?
Maybe.
And then...
Da-da-da. Oh, there we go. Much
Oh, better.
They're better.
Much better.
So this month's movie was... Da-da-da-da-da. Interview with a Vampire. Oh
that
my
thing we
God.
just watched.
Yes. We decided on that movie because, one, it was based, well, partly based in New Orleans.
Nouns.
NOLA. And since Mardi Gras was at the beginning of this month, we wanted to kind of celebrate that. So
We don't have any beads.
I had beads at one point. I don't know what to do with them, though.
Mm-hmm. I have
Okay.
beads on my desk at work, but I'm
Well,
not going
well,
back. No.
They're beads.
I'm not going back to get them.
So we watched the movie. We had food, which we'll get to later.
Yeah.
As you can kind of see in the pictures.
Yeah, we have these big bowls in front of us.
bowls.
Big bowls.
But yeah, so Interview with a Vampire.
Yep.
Based off the Anne Rice book, which was a series of chronicles. It was Vampire Chronicles.
Did you read any of them?
No, I did not.
Ooh, I read a lot.
I haven't read any of her books, actually.
I did. I read a lot of them.
I feel bad. I feel bad, sorry.
Why?
I don't
She wrote under a bunch of different names, you know.
know. Okay, well,
She was, okay,
I
so,
dropped a piece of paper.
Anne Rice did the Chronicles, the Vampire Chronicles, which, so we have Interview with a Vampire, which was not the first book, but
No.
it is the book that she made into a movie first.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, like in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s, I'm thinking, there was another movie made from one of her Vampire Chronicle books. It was called Queen of the Damned, starring the now deceased Elia. And no Tom Cruise, but the vampire Lestat was a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Or at least he looked younger.
Yeah, he was before he met up with Louis. So,
But in any event,
yeah. So this movie was made in 1994. I was 13 at the time.
we actually have a live audience.
Yes. We have our number one fan in the background.
Whoop whoop, Mr. Amen.
Mr. Eamon in the background.
Yeah.
Who normally chimes in, but since we're not at his house today, it's going to be
He
a little
didn't
harder
want to
for
sit
him.
home and be alone.
Yeah, he wanted to hang out with the girls.
So I let him come over with me.
Which is always a fun time. And this movie stars Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Antonio Banderas, Kirsten Dunst, and Christian Slater.
Christian Slater. So who was your favorite in the whole movie for the characters?
Probably
Your favorite actor.
Unfortunately, Tom Cruise. Because he actually played a very interesting character.
He was an interesting character.
I kind of liked it. Oh.
Yeah.
It was something different for him.
Oh, do you think?
Yeah. a little bit.
And he carried it off really well. Brad Pitt, I wish I could say he was my favorite in this one, but he talked super awkward. And, yeah. I just think he was a poor lead.
Yeah.
Poor Brad.
Yeah. Which is funny because Anne Rice did not like the fact that Tom Cruise got picked to play Lestat.
No.
She was very adamant about the fact that he got picked. She's like, that wasn't even her first choice or second choice for Lestat.
No, they went through like 3 offers to other actors prior to Tom Cruise getting it.
She envisioned Rutger Hauer as the original Lestat, so that's kind of interesting. And once she saw him perform and saw the movie, she actually wrote an article in Variety, I believe, saying I was wrong, he was amazing. I think he even got Oscar nominated for it.
Yeah, she took out a 2-page article, 2-page ad.
Yeah.
filled with accolades for the movie. I actually think Tom Cruise is perfect for this role because he's an ass.
Yeah, he's a big ass for this role. Oh my god.
And I think that's very akin to what he might be in real life.
Yeah.
At least that's what I envision him.
Yeah, well, not. I think back then he wasn't. I don't know if he was in Scientology quite yet, but once he hit Scientology, he became even more of an ass. So
Yeah. With a capital ass.
Capital ass. Brad Pitt actually hated making this movie because he's like, it was 6 months basically filming in the dark.
He had a sad time.
Wanted to leave, but knew that if he left, it would cost the studio like $40 million to break out of his contract. So he stayed on, and
is that what he got paid to do that movie?
I think so.
Christian Slater got $250,000.
Yeah.
Only.
Well, there's an interesting story behind that. We'll get to that, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
And then,
sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself.
There was also talk of Lestat and Louis being women. They were thought about doing gender-bending roles with Angelica Houston and Cher.
That's funny because they were supposed to be gay.
Yeah. Very, very homoerotic tendencies in this movie.
Anne Rice, in her movies, or in her writing in general, has some pretty, let's just say erotic in general. Because one of her writing pseudonyms is Anne Rampling. Any of you out there who like a little bit of hot press, something a little bit more steamy to read, get out there and check out Anne Rampling as her Tale of Sleeping Beauty 3-part series. It's you thought 50 Shades was dark.
That's nothing.
There's Sleeping Beauty. It's a 3-book set by Anne Rampling. Yeah. Yep, exactly. But she also, later on in life, she regretted doing her vampire series because it seemed to her to be so evil. So she actually covered angels and demons afterwards, too. She kind of got more spiritual. I don't know. Haven't read anything beyond that. Okay. I did, however, venture into the Sleeping Beauty series ever so slightly. Anyhow.
So to kind of go back, now we're going to come up to the Christian Slater. So
she's dragging me back.
I'm dragging you back in. So originally, River Phoenix was supposed to play the interviewer, the reporter, but he died before production could start. So Christian Slater took the role, and he actually kind of did it sort of for free because all the money he made,
that $250,000,
went to charities. I don't know if it's his charity, Christian's charities, or River's charities.
River's 2 top charities.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I thought that was kind of cool that he kind of did. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, granted, he's only in the movie for total of 5-10 minutes. Honestly, I mean.
Yep. Yes, and then. Never mind. I won't get to the end.
We'll get there.
I like the movie. Don't get me wrong. I like the movie.
Yeah, so.
I just have some pretty distinct opinions about certain parts of it.
Yeah. For Kirsten Dunst, this was her first on-screen kiss, and she didn't like it. It was with Brad Pitt.
She was like, ew, he has cuties.
Yeah.
Cuties.
It's she's 11. She's not really, supposed to be and he was very hippie-ish back then. She thought he was greasy and gross. And
well, he probably was.
He had the long hair, because I think he was doing River Runs Through It at the same time, around that same time.
He was just Brad being Brad.
Yeah,
Brad. Hippie tree hugger stuff. That's why Angelina caught his eye. Because she's kind of that same deal.
Yeah. And then it took actually 18 years to adopt this book into the screenplay. Because they're trying to find the right audience. And because back then, there wasn't... I mean, there were vampire movies, but they were more geared towards, I shouldn't say... Well...
I think it was less real life, more stylized, vampirical, Lord of the Shadows type sort of stuff. And we're going to kill them and, drive a stake through their hearts and all that kind of stuff. But these guys...
You tend to sympathize more with the vampire in this movie than...
Yep.
Well, nowadays you still do. But back then, the vampires were evil. They were considered, the enemy of the film.
They were Dracula. They were the lords of Satan and all that good stuff.
Or Blackula. The 70s imitation. Or Rockula, which is on Prime, which I so want to see.
I think Anne Rice's series and this movie kind of gave them more of a human side. Yeah. Gave them the emotions, there was the
and the
Brad
vampire.
Pitt's dislike for all that he was.
And they were the main characters. You really didn't get a human as a main character like you do most of it, where like a human will either fall in love with the vampire or try to kill the vampire, whereas this is all literally vampire-based characters. Like, yeah, you get the few humans, but they're mostly turned into the vampires, or they're just fodder. They're the food. So it's like this is probably one of the first ones where the vampires are portrayed in a more starring role.
With the exception of the Addams Family, where you have Morticia Addams.
Or the Lost Boys, but the Lost Boys are kind of mean.
But they were still chasing the Lost Boys after the vampires, trying to kill them.
Yeah.
And dealing with vampire lore. This one didn't deal so much with vampire lore.
Vampire? I thought she was just...
Yeah, I think she's...
I thought she was something...
Oh.
She just got... I don't know. Never followed that one.
Well, we have a Frankenstein, and I'm pretty sure she was a vampire woman.
Frankenstein.
I could be wrong. Yes, Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. This is also considered the top 10 most successful vampire movie yet. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's actually...
As compared to What We Do in Shadows?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Here's a note for anybody who wants something completely ludicrous.
Obscure as hell.
What We Do in Shadows. It is about vampires trying to adapt to everyday human life.
It's way too long for that movie. And this movie was way too long. It was only it was 2 hours and 2 minutes, including the credits. And we paused it at an hour and a half. It feels like it's been on forever.
Right? It did.
But I liked this movie growing up, actually. I remember watching it at my brother's apartment a couple times when he would go out and I'd just hang out there. But I didn't realize how long. I mean, 2 hours is nothing nowadays. It's like we watch 2.5 hour Marvel movies and it's nothing. But
well, didn't we have this discussion last week with Beth while we were having our movie weekend?
I think so.
For the money you pay for a movie should be at least 3 hours.
Ugh. Let's do
it.
Not when it's like that, when it's so dark
not
and
that one.
and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But if anybody who hasn't heard of the movie or read the book, it's basically about a guy, Louis, who gets turned into a vampire, kind of almost against his will because he's depressed that his wife and child died, and so
plantation owner. I think. What did it start in the 1700s?
Late 1700s. Yep. And Tom Cruise's character Lestat comes along, kind of is like, I'll give you a choice whether or not you want to be a vampire, and then it's kind of
and he's like a 300-year-old vampire.
And it's their life together, and then one night, Louis' character, I don't know if it mistakenly bites Kirsten Dunst's character Claudia, and then from there they become kind of like a pseudo family, and just kind of like their trials and tribulations.
Weren't they trying to take her out of her suffering because her dad had died
and her mom
left the mom, and the mom was sick?
The mom was already dead. She had the plague.
Oh, there you go.
The plague.
So I think they were trying to take Claudia, or Louis was having a compassionate moment trying to take her out of her suffering.
Yep.
And I think it was Lestat who brought her back
into a vampire
as a gift.
So
that he wouldn't be alone.
Yeah, it's a good movie, but like I said, it feels longer than it should be, and it's just like you gotta kind of be in the right frame of mind to watch it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any trivia?
Oh, trivia. Oh, gosh. Do I have trivia? Okay, so Tom Cruise, he wanted a private set because they spend so much time in makeup. He didn't want anybody in the general public who might be hanging around the movie set to get after that. So they built tunnels to move the actors. You might want to get closer here.
Sorry. I had to pick up something else up there.
I don't want your head to get cut off. Anyway. So they built tunnels to move the actors from set to set. Okay, and you already talked about River Phoenix.
Drinking blood. My blood, anyway. This is my blood.
Oh, Tom Cruise, he's not a tall man.
He's not. He's like 5'6".
Yeah. He was placed on elevated platforms during some of the scenes to reduce the height difference between he and the other actors. Anne Rice, we talked about how Tom Cruise was not her first choice to play the role of Lestat. Anne Rice met with Tom Hanks as one of the potential people and asked him to be Lestat, but he turned her down because he decided to take on the role of Forrest Gump, which
so much better
for him proved to be a wise choice.
Can you imagine Tom Hanks with that long hair and?
I can't. I can't. Tom Cruise,
Weird.
he prepped for the role. Okay, goofy guy. Prepped for the role by watching lions attack zebras in the wild.
You can see that.
What do you go do? That you could plop yourself down in the middle of an African safari and say, "Okay, lions, come attack."
No,
zebras.
National Geographic.
I know, but
Nat Geo, man.
I know, but how do you get in there? Do you tell somebody I'm going to go on African safari? Just drop me off in the middle of a
you
lion.
watch Nat Geo videos.
He was watching videos.
Yes. Do your research.
No, you do your research.
Do your research.
Tom Cruise spent 3.5 hours daily in makeup for Lestat. Brad Pitt, we talked about how he didn't like making the movie. And we also talked about in the book, Louis and Lestat were supposed to be lovers, but they left out the gay subtext from this movie. Otherwise, it might have been Broke Neck Mountain. Sorry, but bump. Natalie Portman auditioned for the role of Claudia. I just can't imagine that role in anybody other than Kirsten's hands.
Kirsten Dunst?
Yeah,
You said Kirsten Dunst?
hands.
Oh.
In her hands. I can't imagine the role in anybody else's hands, but Kirsten. Let's have another drink.
Oh. Yeah.
All right, here's my best little tidbit. The one I thought was just the best, the funnest.
I thought Forrest Gump was pretty funny.
Well, we'll get Oprah Winfrey walked out of the premiere after the first reel due to the amount of blood.
It's a vampire movie.
I know, it's a vampire movie. What are you expecting? Yeah, let's have some Twizzlers and sit around, man.
Well, we did, but that's us.
And some cheesecake,
And
some wine, and a roast beef, a chicken, some pizza.
Right. Sacrifice the kitty.
Yeah, no, we didn't sacrifice any kitties.
Dang it.
That would be bad.
So
That would be bad. Let's see. Let's take a wine break. I'm taking a wine. No, I'm just gonna
taking a wine break. So we're we want to do a food segment then real quick, or
What do we want to do?
the food segment?
Yeah, we can do the food segment if you want after that.
So our food segment, actually, since it is Mardi Gras in New Orleans, I made a vegan style jambalaya because I have friends who can't eat meat on Fridays right now during Lent. So I made sure you can, but
The Pope frowns.
I wanted to try it because it looked interesting. So it's basically just vegetable broth, some frozen okra, rice, soy crumbles, faux meat crumbles. Sorry, tomatoes, mushrooms, celery.
some roast beef, the chicken,
Right, some roast beef, the chicken. It's just like a hodgepodge of vegetables, basically. If you're doing the vegan style, it turned out pretty good. I thought. I don't know.
Look, we have a guest star.
We have a little guest star in the background.
It's Hobbs.
That's my
It's
hobby.
his screen debut.
I know, right? Oh Lord.
Look at cat butt. We need an R rating.
Right, a little black screen right there. Oh, there we go.
All right. Anyway,
So that's pretty good. We'll post a recipe. I found it on Pinterest.
yeah, I thought it was pretty delish.
A little bit more, but
Yeah, there's little pieces of okra in there. Have you ever noticed that a piece of okra? I don't know if you can get that up close, on the
okra down.
All right, okra down. Okay, so look at that. Does that not look like the barrel of a gun?
All right.
Like the revolver.
Yeah.
I'm playing Russian roulette with some okra, man.
Right. Yeah, it turned out pretty good, I thought. Mr. Amen enjoyed it, I believe. And then we have wine as our little blood.
We're drinking blood.
Blood. Well, to me, it practically is. I mean, for Pete's sake.
The plasma, though.
Right.
Yeah. We just hooked him up with an IV.
Right. I mean, who knows? See, Hobbs is a little better. Our guest star today. He's our before he was famous.
That's the director tonight. Tonight's guest director is
Right.
Hobbs.
He's making sure we're doing it correctly. It's kind of freaky with
He's
the lighting.
kind of cute.
He's making sure the wine gets drank. Let me tell you, there's no problem with that.
Yeah.
He's our supervisor tonight.
So
He's gonna do a very good
recipe
job.
segment. Are you going to post your recipe too?
I will post it
on the Facebook.
Or
On the
you
Book
can
of
post it
Face.
because I sent it to you via
Oh.
Snapchat. Snapchat. Or not Snapchat. Pinterest. Pinterest. I don't know. But
Is there a symbol for Pinterest? Oh.
Pinterest.
Pinterest.
Like,
Pin, pin.
oh, there, I'm pinching my head. Ow!
Pin, pin, pin.
Ow.
Oh my gosh.
Someone turned the loose.
Late night talk show host.
I'm feeling very verklempt right now. Talk amongst yourselves.
Jumbo shrimp.
Jumbo
Oxymoron. Talk amongst
It
yourselves.
is an oxymoron. Either jumbo. How can a jumbo shrimp be shrimp? Be jumbo and shrimp.
I don't know.
Disgust.
It's like butter.
It's like butter.
Anyway, okay, so food segment. We got our blood and our jambalaya. Good, good shit. I mean, good stuff.
Beep. There. We have a very maniac cat in the back who's trying to destroy my kitchen.
Oh, I'm just waiting for him to do the cartwheels through.
I know, right? Oh, Lord.
No.
But no.
Okay.
So, 7 degrees of Tom Hanks.
Yay! 7 degrees of Tom Hanks.
7 degrees, 7 degrees, 7 degrees.
Actually, we could have a 1 degree of Tom Hanks.
After that, yeah.
But we're not gonna, because I'm gonna make you suffer.
And take it away, Sue.
Ta-da! Okay, so Kirsten Dunst played Claudia, the little 12-year-old vampire girl, who was actually 5 in the book.
Yeah.
She made her debut, her film debut, in a 1989 release of a small film called New York Stories, which was an anthology of short stories, and it was directed by Woody Allen. So number 2, Woody Allen. He dated Diane Keaton for a year, just 1 year, 1970 to 1971. I think that's when they were making their movie.
Annie Hall.
Annie Hall. Number 3, Diane Keaton. She was in the 2018 film Book Club with Jane Fonda and Candice Bergen, which was about some older ladies who were reading 50 Shades. Candice Bergen,
Like
no
my
stranger
mother.
to TV.
What? Who's
right.
that?
She was a 7 times. She belonged to the 5 Timers Club on SNL.
Yep.
But she also had some guest star roles on The Muppet Show. And just like another SNL alum, Steve Martin. He also was a guest star on The Muppet Show. Steve Martin is our number 5. He married Victoria Tennant in 1986, and at his star-studded wedding, the guest list included his friends, Eugene Levy, Carl Reiner, and none other than Tom Hanks. 7 degrees, 7 degrees, 7 degrees of Tom Hanks. So, yeah. Hey, we've been here almost a year now, or is it a year now?
It'll be a year next month.
And we haven't failed in putting Tom Hanks 7 degrees from our movie. Now that's what I call living large.
Go, Mr. Hanks. You are a treasure.
Woohoo! Soundtrack. Was there much of a soundtrack on this?
We totally skipped it. Not really. I mean, it was very. I mean, there was this like scores. But as far as like music, I don't think so.
Yeah, there was no. Oh, except for the end scene.
Oh yeah, the end scene. They have a cover by Guns N' Roses.
Spoiler alert.
Guns N' Roses covers. Oh my gosh, what's that song?
It's by the Rolling Stones.
Oh gosh, what is that song? Da, 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 da. Hope you guess my name.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
Oh my gosh, it's not Beast of Burden, and I'm thinking so.
No.
Sympathy for the Devil.
Yeah,
there we
Sympathy
go.
for the Devil.
Sympathy for the Devil.
Originally a Rolling Stones tune.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it.
Covered by Guns N'
I
Roses.
loved it.
Yeah. For those of you who have seen the movie, great. If you haven't, close your ears right now.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
They are the reporter is listening to his tapes, driving down. I believe it was the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
Which, another piece of trivia, they had to close while they were filming this scene.
Typical.
And he's in a convertible, and as he's listening to his tapes, and they're playing this music in the background, whoosh! All of a sudden, a vampire by the name of Lestat swoops in, shoves him out of the driver's seat, does away with him, says he's all of a sudden feeling better, and he takes off driving the convertible, listening to the music.
I think that's probably my favorite scene, just because Tom Cruise played it so well. Like, he played that really well.
Pathetic.
Pathetic. And the scene where he's when the house is burning, he's like, "Oh, just shut up, Louis." Just
Right?
like, I just like it when he just starts yelling at him. It's just so funny because it's like he's just like, "Oh, just shut up. Quit your whining."
He's vain. He's cruel. No sympathy.
For the devil.
No.
So, I think that scene in the house scene, because it's Tom Cruise kind of being Tom Cruise a little bit there.
But yet, he had a little teeny tiny bit of a human moment when he was making up with Claudia when she brought him the twin boys.
Because when she's like, why do you make fun of me? And he felt bad for doing that when he knows she can never be more than 12.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So all in all, I think it's a pretty good movie. You know.
Favorite scenes?
The end scene on the bridge is probably one of my favorites. I always wait for that scene every time the movie came on TV. I always liked that scene. And then probably the death scene of Lestat. You know, his death scene was pretty cool. Because that actually, when she does the scene, is an animatronic that is playing the part of Tom Cruise.
Okay.
When he gets, spoiler alert, when he gets his
Throat
slit.
Slit. That's it. That's what I was looking for.
And actually, people have actually commended that scene as probably one of the, like, it's the way it was filmed and the animatronics that we use is pretty good as far as special effects.
So wait a minute. One of Tom Cruise's best scenes in the film is one
Well,
that he's
he's not
not
even in.
He's not even in.
I know, right?
Classic. I love that.
Classic.
That's beautiful.
I know, right? I didn't know it was animatronic though. Like, it looked pretty real to me.
I don't either. Well, yeah, I guess CGI wasn't that big a deal then.
Wasn't as widely known back then. Yeah.
Nope.
So.
That's funny.
What do you think? What was some of your favorite scenes?
Let's see.
The girl in the
You know, it's really weird, but I think I've seen Queen of the Damned too many times because
Queen of the Damned.
I was waiting for my favorite scene only to find out that my favorite scene isn't even in this movie.
Wait a minute. Something not right, not.
Well,
Mr. Amy, take her home. She's done.
so in Queen of the Damned, there's a scene.
I'm not talking about Queen of the
I
Damned.
know, but that's the scene I was waiting for, and then I realized it's not coming in this movie.
What, like hour 58? Is
Yeah, 2 minutes before the movie was done. I'm like,
wait a second.
wait, I've been chipped.
Oh, Sue. There.
It's
There,
okay,
there.
right? I think some of my favorites are when Claudia is just discovering her independence, and she wants the doll, and the man, the doll maker, is in the shop, and she's looking in, and he says to her, "These are very expensive dolls. I don't think you can afford one." And then it cuts to her walking away, and you hear him flump.
Yep.
He can afford it all right because you're dead. And
He's
she's got
dead.
your doll. So I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt bad for the staff at Louis' plantation.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when he's home there and they're worried about him, and the missus, not the missus, but the lead,
maid?
the lead maid from the house comes to him.
Who's Thandie Newton, by the way?
Who's that? I don't know her.
So, Thandie Newton is actually, gosh, she was in
Sounds
Crash.
like you have a terrible lift.
I know, right?
Fame.
She was in Crash.
Okay.
The one, not the original Crash back in the 80s, but the one recently with Matt Dillon.
Okay.
She was in ER for a little while. I can't, off the top of my head, those are the only two I'm thinking of. But that was like way before she became famous with Crash.
Crash Bandicoot.
Because I was before we watched the movie, like somebody famous other than
I know,
the
you
main
kept
ones
telling
was,
me
like,
that, and I
in
don't
this movie.
recognize the names. I'm like, oh.
I think you saw her list, you'd be like, oh, she's that girl in that movie.
Sandy on the lift?
Sandy on the list.
I'm sorry.
Can't bring her anywhere, people. It's ridiculous.
Oh. What?
He's
What are we
gardening.
pointing? Oh, Hobby is looking out the window gardening us from our hands. Right.
Right? Our
There's
mob.
zombies.
Yeah.
There's a horde of zombies
There's a herd of zombies,
outside.
apparently.
Wombi. You look like a wombi.
Anyway.
I set my gun to Wumbo.
Can't bring these two together. Those two together. Or one more together.
Can I help it? No.
But anyway, so that kind of wraps up our movie for this month.
Okay.
Did we decide next month's movie since it's your pick?
Well, let's see. I had lots of
You
choices.
did.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Jaws.
Okay.
Oh.
That's fine. It's on my other list to watch anyway, so
you
I gotta
you gotta.
I gotta watch it.
All right, so
We do have a fan who'll probably be happy to hear that.
I have a
so.
Twitter account, okay, and one of the daily posts that I get is from a Jaws. It's called the Daily Jaws, and it's all things Jaws. So for anybody who loves that movie for all of its crazy zany nothingness,
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
yes, and a bigger bottle of
Yeah.
wine.
Baby.
No, baby sharks. No, absolutely not. Anywho, all right. So April is going to be Jaws.
Yeah.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
Yeah, Jaws it is. No, Jaws.
So-
Actually, April will be our 1 year anniversary. So
What an appropriate way to do a 1 year anniversary by being a man-eating shark on the show.
named Bruce.
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 Don't call me Bruce.
Don't call me Bruce.
Bruce.
Oh Lord.
Anyway,
so go see Interview with the Vampire if you haven't yet.
we'll be posting some of our favorite scenes.
And I'll post the recipe for
Put
the
the recipe
jambalaya.
on there, and we're gonna go back and have some more wine.
Woo!
All
All
right.
right, stay tuned for next month when we do Baby Shark.
No, it's no baby sharks. I promise there will be no baby sharks hurt in the filming of this show. Okay, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
See you next month.
See you
Thanks
next
for
month.
watching.
Bye.
We're finished.